Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Grosvenor Centre on a Wednesday evening. No, Tuesday evening. Cool. We've got so many on at the moment this week of our kind of Northampton Film Festival broadcasts. And I'm forgetting what day of the week is. We've got about 2 going on at the moment a week. And the kind of next little few weeks is all about people who have been involved with Northampton Film Festival last year. So we've got people who are runners-up, who just entered a film into a 48-hour film challenge, people who won competitions, people who didn't, but have enjoyed their experience and apparently are going to come back and enter films for this competition as well. So yeah, we do these because we want people to know to know their place, which is a theme of this year's film festival, which is all about knowing there are lots of people who grew up in Northamptonshire, who still live here, who've moved here, study here, whatever, who make films, work in the film industry, do filmy things. We kind of started these mostly aimed at the younger people that might put into our schools competition for Northampton Film Festival. But to be fair, we're talking to people who have done the school stuff, but also people who have put into the main competition and all sorts of things. So hopefully they are ageless and timeless, but we will see. But today, before I introduce our guest, let me just tell you about our website. northamptonfilmfestival.co.uk has got all the details about how you can enter films into the film festival, or you can do our 48-hour film challenges if you only want to make a film in 48 hours and enter it. And all the kind of various things we've got going on. If you're watching live, we've actually got on Thursday, we've got a little drop-in 6 till 7. You can come in and talk to us at our shop in the Grosvenor Centre about Northampton Film Festival. Maybe you're interested in entering film. Maybe you'd like to volunteer. Maybe you just want to be nosy. That's fine. I've got some events to announce this week, so you'll probably be the first to hear about those if you come along to that drop-in. You can just turn up if you want, or you can email us. If you're interested in the schools competition, it's schools@northamptonfilmfestival.co.uk. If you're interested in anything else, it's info@northamptonfilmfestival.co.uk. If you're watching live, you can put questions and stuff in the chat in whichever platform you're watching it on, and we will try and answer them. If you're watching, obviously, on catch up, whatever the word is, on YouTube or the Facebook pages, you can still ask us questions, but you'll have to email us because we're not live. So without further ado, and that was quite a lot of an ado, let's be honest, I'm going to bring in Olivia Foan, or Liv, as you are called on your screen. Thank you very much for joining us, Liv.
I am indeed, yeah. Hi, thanks for me. It's so nice to see you again.
Oh, we've got a little bit of breakup. I don't know if everyone's getting that or whether it's just me, but hopefully we'll be all right.
Hopefully it will improve.
Well, I mean, first off, do you just want to kind of introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do in relation to film, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, stop me if the connection's bad at any point, and maybe I can try and switch onto my phone or something, but it should be okay. I'm Liv. I grew up in Northampton, lived there until university, actually. So never ventured anywhere else, just stayed there. And then, so all the way through school, I knew I was interested in stories. I didn't know how to do anything about that, if that makes sense, career-wise. I think I thought I wanted to be a vet for a very long time, but then I realized that I'm rubbish at science, so I had to give that up very quickly. So then I decided to go to uni, and I studied theatre, film, television at Bristol. And from there, I then kind of moved into doing creative work, acting and producing and writing. And I kind of do it now. I do a bit of everything, but mostly writing now. I guess that's my intro.
Well, yeah, and so obviously you entered what was going to be the 2020 festival, then obviously pandemic had other ideas, so we did our online 2021. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your film, The Dinner Party, kind of where it was made, how it was made, what was your involvement in it?
Yeah, so that all started from being in sixth form. in Northampton at a school called Caroline Chisholm. I don't know if it's still there. I hope it is.
Yeah, I think so.
And in sixth form at Caroline Chisholm, I used to in our free periods when we were supposed to be studying, my friend Matthew Durrell, who I think he now works at the Film House in Northampton. We used to watch films rather than revise, and he introduced me to some amazing cinema that definitely sparked like a real interest in kind of more than just going to the cinema. It was, you know, an interest in like film itself and the medium of film. And then years and years passed, and then he got back in touch after uni because we both kind of studied similar things and we were both still interested in the same things that we were back then. And eventually he sent me the script called The Dinner Party, and it was it was pretty much exactly how you saw on the screen. We had to cut a few bits here and there for budget reasons, but it was just an amazing script. I've never read anything like it. Not ambitiously, I thought, I just very much was like, let's just make this. I think it would be amazing. And it just kind of came to me at a moment when I was looking for a new project. So yeah, we decided to make it. And we made it using a crowdfunder campaign. We raised £1,500 to make the film. And we shot it in Northamptonshire at my parents' house. Thank you to my parents for letting 15 people take over their house. And we also used Cinetruck, which is a Northampton-based lighting company. They're amazing. They gave us a really good, amazing kit that basically was everything that we needed to just get this kind of like indie budget off the ground. So yeah, for 3 days, and then we edited it over a period of months because obviously everyone went back to their day jobs, and then it was just kind of editing it here and there when we could. And then we entered it into the festival, and we were so thrilled that we were the runner-up. So that was really, really exciting.
Yeah, it was very close. I'll be honest, at the top. There's a lot of praise for the film, and it's so nice that we've kind of slightly changed some of our kind of application details. So we're kind of slightly narrowing, that you've got to either live here or whatever else in the kind of putting in a film. But back in the 2020, we had quite a broad application process. So it was great that, our top films really were proper Northamptonshire. So how many kind of, how many local people did you work with? How good or bad was Northamptonshire for making film in? What, opportunities did you get that maybe you might have struggled with elsewhere?
So obviously the writer, Matt, he was from Northamptonshire. I'm from Northamptonshire as well. And then Cinetruck, who we worked with for the film, for the equipment. Other than that, we were pretty self-sufficient because, as I mentioned, my very kind, very generous parents let 15 people kind of invade their garage, basically. We just used the garage. And my mum was the caterer. She's amazing. But to be honest, we sort of transported, because it was a very low budget film, I worked with actors and the director and some assistant producers who I'd worked with before, who all loved the script as much as I did and just wanted to kind of be involved in a project. So we kind of transported those people to Northampton, because I think the thing with sometimes with low budget things, which can make it great but also difficult, is that you're really relying on people to just be as passionate about it as you are, and it's really useful to have worked with them before, so that you have, and also to have a shorthand, because you're so tight on time and everything just needs to get done as quickly as you can possibly do it, because time is money. So yeah, most of the cast and the crew were people that from London that I'd worked with before. But to be honest, most of them are from a whole range of places throughout the country as well. So it just happens that they're in London as that kind of base. But it was amazing for them to experience Northamptonshire, even if they only saw a small slice, but I think they enjoyed visiting. But in terms of being there, everyone that I did contact about potentially using, you know, their site or their equipment or things like that, everyone was so open and helpful, and that was fully demonstrated by Cinetrack, who were absolutely fantastic in not only helping us understand the kit that we actually needed, because as quite young filmmakers, you know, not hugely experienced, Cinetrack was amazing at kind of being like, I think you should use this, maybe not that. And we were like, great, thank you, because, you know, and just those little bits of advice and information are just so helpful when you're starting out and you're just, you know, this is our first film, my first film, most people's maybe second or third film. So it is a kind of camaraderie that I think is really amazing about Northamptonshire.
Definitely. Like, what did you learn? You're saying it's your first film, so I mean, obviously I imagine you learned loads, because everyone always does every film they make, but what was a big takeaway from you that hopefully will make your next film easier?
Don't try and do everything. So I was in it, I was the main character, and I produced it. I had a couple of assistant producers, but I definitely took on the kind of main role of the main producer of the whole shoot. So it kind of got to, I mean, I hope that my performance was good, but it got very kind of down the last week. And I was like, okay, I haven't even need to look at script as an actor. Do you know what I mean? Not pulling it apart as a producer. And I think there's such different roles. I think obviously some people can do that and they are incredible at it. But I think for your first film, maybe just pick one thing and do one thing and try and learn about that one thing. Because I think I learned a hell of a lot about producing, but it would have been really interesting to maybe not be in it and just produce it and just really focus on honing that skill for that particular project. And then obviously down the line, if, you know, once you've got a few things under your belt and you like I mentioned, you might have that shorthand and things might just run smoother, and maybe you could dabble in, you know, directing and acting or things like that. But I think my biggest takeaway was to just try and do one thing and do it really well to begin with.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, people, I think the producer role is a bit of a unknown quantity to a lot of people, and that I think is because depending on the budget level and everything else, it really changes. But for you, what were the main things you were doing as a producer if someone doesn't really know what that role entails?
Yeah, I would agree, actually. And I think a producer can mean so many different things depending on what area of work you're in. I mean, for example, in theatre and film, it's a completely different job. And also, depending on the budget, it's a completely different job, like you said. So for me, and I think for maybe a lot of kind of first or second or low budget films, I was basically the driving force behind, and I think that is maybe true of a lot of producers, but you're kind of the driving force behind the project. So it meant I kind of got the whole cast and crew together, kind of cemented a team together. I then organised, you know, how we communicating, time frame, dates, and budget. I was on the budget as well, so I was working that out. And then I also managed the crowdfunding campaign as well. And then obviously all the travel arrangements. I got lots of amazing help from the more technical members of the crew about, you know, what equipment we need. But then I got to work out, okay, how do we source this? And then we're organising the catering, and you know, and also making sure that everyone was kind of comfortable on set as much as possible. Although that I kind of delegated to the assistant producers when we were actually there. But and then even afterwards, I mean, you do the film and then you're like, oh gosh, I'm done. But then you're like, nope, pick up and okay, you know, what's the time frame for editing? And then finally, where is it going to go? How are we going to get it out there? What film festivals are we going to enter into? So I think it's a huge job for your kind of first project, but it's also really exciting because you have the opportunity to shape the entire thing. Whereas I think when you do start to, maybe if you chose it as a career, when you do start to move up the ladder, you end up kind of niching in, you know, a particular area or something. So it's really exciting to just have like this idea in the palm of your hands and be, you know, molding it and shaping it. And it's a very personal experience. So, but yeah, I think that's the main thing, is that you are kind of the engine of the project. And in a way, without you, it probably wouldn't happen, because there's so many moving parts. There's so many pathways that it could go down, and you have to kind of be that steering force. So yeah, that's what I'd say it was, for sure.
And you kind of say, you know, you didn't know everything starting out, so you don't necessarily, you might rely on like the technical people to tell you stuff. I think people worry about having a go because they don't know everything. But what's your thoughts on that?
I mean, I think that's such a barrier, isn't it, to all creative work? This idea that, you know, oh, we shouldn't because it's, you know, yeah, we don't know enough, or maybe I'm not the right person, but I think that it's useful to remember that everyone felt like that at one point, and everyone has to start somewhere. And also, I think if there's just a story that you want to tell, there's a reason why you want to tell it, usually. So, and that, you know, by default, that makes you qualified to tell it, I think. And I think just releasing yourself from any sense of kind of like that intense perfectionism or being worried about what people think, because, you know, as I said before, everyone started somewhere. And I think the confidence that it gives you afterwards, after you've done the project, when you've learned all of those things, it then gives you such confidence and kind of energy to approach your next project. And there's always people out there willing to help. And there's always people, I mean, people love flattery and also sharing wisdom. So if there's people who you think can help you, flatter them and then ask them for help. And, you know, 9 times out of 10, most people are really lovely, and they'll offer you, you know, like Sinatra, they'll offer you that little bit of help or that little bit of assistance or that guidance. I also wrote about my experience of kind of going through that whole, you know, producing your first film thing, and I shared it online, which I can share the link with you if you'd like, because I thought it might be useful for other people after completing the project. Yeah. Because I think, yeah, sharing that is really important. But I think, honestly, I mean, there were some disasters, don't get me wrong. Like, there were some moments where I was like, oh my gosh. But ultimately, it was so worth it. And I can't tell you how amazing it feels now to know that all of us, we just pushed through, and we just, you know, we just loved the idea so much that we just followed it. And I think maybe just pin something up on a noteboard that reminds you why you started it, because sometimes you can get lost in the fear, and that has to kind of remind you, no, this is why I'm doing it, you know. Also, read Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. That will help. It's the best book I've ever read. It just basically talks all about fear and creativity. And
I think we've got a bit of frozenness.
Oh, I'm back. I'm back. Sorry, my Wi-Fi is so bad here. Yeah. Don't move to London. The Wi-Fi is terrible.
Yeah, it's all about Northamptonshire. You're basically in the sticks in London. Rubbish.
Yeah, it's rubbish. Yeah.
But yeah, the fear is real, but everyone feels the fear. Every filmmaker, but it's also that's such great advice about like a post-it or whatever, going, why did I set out? What was this about?
I genuinely have to have that for every single project that I start, because all ideas are exciting and fun at the beginning. And then when you actually have to do the work, you suddenly go like, oh my God, what am I doing? What am I doing? So yeah, I can't remember who told me that. Someone very, very lovely and good at writing told me that. and I've done it ever since, and I can't remember who told me, but yeah, it's so useful because it just, you know, it's that little reminder that you need of like why you're doing it to kind of dispel that fear.
Yeah, definitely. I might try that. But yeah, well, so obviously, yes, the dinner party got an outing at Northampton Film Festival, but where else has it been shown? What happened as a result of sharing it?
So I mean, COVID put a bit of a spanner in the works with everything, really. And we are still going to, I think, at some point get together as a team and enter it into more festivals. But what we did do, which I would highly recommend anyone doing, is we actually held our own film festival to share it with anyone that we kind of thought would be interested, and also to celebrate the work in itself, and to share it with the crowdfunders who very generously gave us the support and the, sorry, my dog's going to be noisy now, gave us the support to obviously carry out the project. So we did that by we actually split it with a couple of other friends who had made films, and it was all their first films. So we thought, right, well, let's have a film festival for first-time filmmakers. And it was amazing. We showed it to a whole bunch of people, and through that, I made some great connections with people who I will probably work with at some point in the future, which is really exciting. So that's another option as well. Like, you know, if you're thinking, oh, it'll never get into a film festival, hold your own. It'll be great. You'll have a great time, and you can invite who you want. So yeah, that's a really good option as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think film festivals, you know, yes, of course, it's about hopefully winning, but also, actually, you know, it's a great way to network, and there will be people like you or in the same boat as you, you know, at a similar film festival to you. So it's such a great way to network, and I hope we can do lots of that in person this time at 2022's festival. Well, I think we'll probably leave it there, Liv. But thank you very much for giving up some of your time to talk to us. Where can people watch the film or read about the film or find out more about you?
You can watch the film somewhere. I think we still haven't put it fully online yet because we're still thinking about some other festivals to enter it to. But if they email me, I have an Instagram. I'm at Liv Foan, so LIVFOAN on Instagram. I'm very friendly. Add me and message me, and I can send you a link to the film if you'd like to see it. And I can send you the link to some of the writing I've done on producing that film, and then also how to kind of run your own film festival and things like that. Or if you just want to chat, lovely, that's fine by me.
So here you go. You see, this is you know what you're talking about. So you know, you got to send Liv a flattering email.
Oh, flatter me first, yes,
flatter me, and then she'll tell you stuff, give you advice. You can chat, you can talk about your film. This is you know, hopefully what, you know, a community of local filmmakers.
And I think I've run into or just randomly met a few times some other people who are from Northampton who are in this industry, and every time it's just been joyous because we've both kind of gone, oh my gosh, you know, you've got the same, you know, we're from the same place and we do this, and it's, you know, we can do it. And so that is so that's great. And I'm always excited to speak to people who are from the East Midlands as well, you know, that whole area, who are interested in this area. So yeah, absolutely. Flatter me first, though.
Yeah, no, there you go. So that's your invitation, people. Get in touch. But also, yes, get in touch with us as well if you've got questions, things. I will get those links off Liv as well and share them around because they sound really interesting. And it's great if people share their experiences of making film and try and demystify the process.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Liv. Let's do a weird awkward wave as I say goodbye to you.
Goodbye. Thank you.
Yeah, that I don't do that well. But there we go. But yes, thank you very much for joining us, people. If you want to find out more about the film festival, as I keep going on about it, northamptonfilmfestival.co.uk. If you aren't watching this live and or you have questions that you didn't want to ask live, you are welcome to get in touch with us. The whole point of Northampton Film Festival is to try and be approachable and nice, and, you know, hopefully support you to make stuff. So we want to hear from you, but I'm going to let you go now. Hopefully see you all soon at an event or a film screening or some such thing like that. I'll do an awkward wave now.